Ladies and gentlemen, the following is another exciting episode of the Wrestling Fans Podcast, Ringside Society. In one corner, we have the greatest thing on God's green earth. No, we're not talking about money, Mary Jane, or Popeye Spinach. He's a tranquil dart of Ringside Society and Delaware's greatest American hero. It takes two to make a thing go right. He's Rob Bass, and you are not. And the second corner, we have that ocean crossing, straight up boxing, flight catching, shot glass snatching, always positive, life is great, reppin' 592, living in the 718, the worldwide star boy, Remy Blue. And our special guest tonight is a man definitely showed out at the Nightmare Factory Student Showcase 3. Not only has he actually trained at the Worldwide Dojo, which is actually ran by Cheeseburger and Sumi Sakai. And for those of you who don't know Sumi Sakai is, she's actually the first ever Ring of Honor Women's Champion or Women of Honor Champion. And Cheeseburger, who is pretty well known in Ring of Honor and has also traveled and wrestled in New Japan Pro Wrestling. And this man has also competed on AEW Dark. Everybody, welcome to the show, Nightmare Factory Class 3 graduate, Undeniable Michael Martinez.
How's it going, guys? Thank you for having me. That was an awesome introduction.
No problem, Michael. Thank you for actually taking time out of your busy schedule to, just to talk about your career and shoot the breeze in regards to pro wrestling and so on. I really and truly appreciate it. And we always look forward to talking to, the Nightmare Factory students because y'all are doing some awesome work down there. I still haven't gotten over the past student showcases that I've watched, and I still have yet to see Showcase 4. I've seen the women's match for it, but I'm gonna eventually end up watching the rest of it. But how's everything going with you in your neck of the woods?
Yeah, everything's going great. Right now it's a little quieter, personally speaking, just because I'm in the middle of a move. But besides that, I'm just ready to get this situation handled and focus on my training again and just get my feet under me in terms of that sense. Yeah, I'm just looking forward to hopefully making some more noise this year and seeing where things lead.
Man, Michael Martinez, no disrespect, but I'm looking forward to that noise because whenever there's a wrestler from the great country of Puerto Rico in the ring, noise is definitely made. I'm talking like you got people like, I don't know if you met this guy before. Some people may even call him your brother, Damian Priest, aka well, I know him as Punisher Martinez. You have La Rosa Negra, and of course you have the Colon family. So it's always, and it's always, and I'm not just saying this because you're actually in front of me, but it's always an exciting time when I see a wrestler from Puerto Rico doing their thing in the ring and so on. Always entertaining, matches to definitely remember and so on.
Yeah, for sure. Just in general, I feel like everybody just wants to represent as best they can, and lately, more there's more prominence in terms of Puerto Rico, but that's the thing. I feel like it's something in common with everybody. You just try to represent for who you are and where you come from, and that's something that's big in every I would say across the board, but especially with Puerto Ricans. If you see how crazy they are about boxing or other things, just something in the way we're raised to be very proud of where we come from.
Yeah, I definitely see that in sports all around, and that's a great thing when even your whole country is watching and backing you and so on. And yeah, man. So I actually saw you do your thing at the Nightmare Factory Student Showcase against AK4. Is it AK-47? What is his name, right? The assassin.
Yep, AK-47, the assassin. He's a very little sneaky little guy, I would say.
Yeah. Hey, that was a really good match. Like, and I heard that there was a bit of a rivalry between two of y'all, you know, in the training class, and to see them take that rivalry and put it, in the showcase, I was like, okay, this is definitely something I'm looking forward to. and it's gonna be hot, and it definitely was. I mean, for a minute I thought AK got you, but you eventually pulled it out.
Yeah, I mean, the big thing about the showcase matches, I mean, from the beginning, me and AK got there before the actual camp started. And it just so happened that we were down there, speaking to QT and everyone and just getting a feel for everything. And so we met there. And funny enough, we ended up in the same camp. And for one reason or another, we always ended up having to go at it whenever they were putting together matches. It didn't matter if we were standing apart, if we were talking to each other, it just always happened. So, fast forward to the showcase, it was awesome. I mean, we didn't know that we were even going to be uh, facing off against each other, I would say, until like maybe a week beforehand that we were told. And when we were approached about it, I mean, each of us were like, "All right, that's awesome," because you already know we wrestle plenty here, so I'm gonna take it to you, so you better be ready. And he was the same kind of approach, and so I mean, we both had taken some time off of wrestling, which was something else we had in common. And I feel like it was awesome experience. And I mean, as much as we were competitive with each other, I'm glad that my first match back was against him.
Yeah, that was a pretty awesome match. You even had the Silver Fox, Ryan St. James, on your side too. I think what the salesman of professional wrestling, or the professional salesman of professional wrestling. I forgot what the moniker he was, that he goes by, but you had him in your corner as well for guidance too. That was a great match. I actually enjoyed it.
Yeah, I mean, he's awesome, and obviously, he's very professional. And if you have him in your corner, it tends to help out. So I was thankful I had him in mind.
Yeah. So I got I gotta ask. I normally ask pretty much like 95% of our guests this question, but what was the event or the pay-per-view or just the match that made you become a fan of professional wrestling?
I mean, it's hard for me to nail one thing down. I mean, I'm speaking from the time I was 4 years old. I had a Sega Genesis with the In Your House video game on it, so I loved that. I would watch, Sunday Night Heat. Yeah, I would just watch anything that I could, and really, it was something that my older brother was a fan of always, and so it started from like one of those things, as a younger sibling, you try watching, see if you like it, and then I was always rooting for whoever was going against Undertaker because that was his favorite wrestler, and and yeah, that's kind of where it started. Um, yeah, and I mean, I really never have looked back. There was times that like everybody else, I didn't necessarily watch it every so often as at least as when I started watching as a fan. But I would say around the time that NXT got Finn Balor and a lot of those guys, that's definitely part of the things that brought me back to watching it. And yeah, I mean, it's something that no matter what happens with my wrestling career, I like to say that I'm not that far removed from just being a fan, but I'll always be a fan, to begin with.
Yeah, it always starts with fandom, and then it leads to some people go above and beyond, and eventually end up saying, "Hey, I want to be a part of this industry more. I want to be more than a fan. I want to take that step and become a professional wrestler or a manager, or as my co-host here, Rob Bass did, become a referee and so on." So it always starts with fandom, regardless of where you go in wrestling. It always starts with fandom. And I gotta say, you definitely did well, and entering, the industry and whatnot. And you also trained at the Worldwide Dojo, which is ran by Cheeseburger and Sumi Sakai. How was that for you?
That was honestly one of the better, experiences I could have ever expected out of this. When I had gotten to the Worldwide Dojo, I had done a couple weeks of training actually at WrestlePro beforehand, but nothing substantial, and it just wasn't working out with the schedule I had at the time. So when I found the Worldwide Dojo, Cheeseburger was really welcoming. Sumi is a wealth of knowledge. And yeah, I mean, it really gave me a good, uh, I guess, base in terms of my fundamentals. Um, and that's really where, I started coming up with different ideas and things. And Cheeseburger is awesome about, if you want to do something, he'll help you, do it in a way that the crowd is entertained by it, which is awesome.
That's cool. Yeah, Sumi Sakai, I never get tired of watching her matches. You know, definitely, and it's funny because she is not the most. She's not the tallest women's wrestler. She's pretty short, but she can definitely go in that ring. And yeah,
That's
I'm
for
always
sure. Now, I was gonna
and
say, I mean, in terms of the training she would put us through, it's there's a reason she can go. She's no joke. So her stature, don't take it for granted. She is she is no joke. She's made many men my size and bigger, seem very weak.
yeah, Cheeseburger's another one too. You know what I like about your other trainer Cheeseburger is that he took. So for those of you that don't know, that I know a lot. Those of y'all watching know who Cheeseburger is, but for those of y'all that don't know, Cheeseburger, how the name Cheeseburger came about, and I saw it. It was Ring of Honor, and he was one of the guys that was cleaning out the streamers out of the ring. And then Charlie Haas sees him, and he's like, "What's your name?" And he's like, he said his. I'm not gonna say his shoot name out of respect out of respect, but he said his name, and he said, "You know something? They should have named you Cheeseburger because every time I see, and granted he's skinny in stature, and Charlie Haas is like, you know what? They should name you Cheeseburger because every time I see you, I feel like eating a cheeseburger." And he took that name and he ran with it and became pretty much a household name. That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, you couldn't have summed it up better. He's one of those people that no matter what you give him, he's found a way to make it stand. And now that he's rebranded himself as Worldwide CB, I mean, you could just see the change in his demeanor and everything's starting to fall together. And it's awesome to see as a student of his.
I think
Yeah,
he's
definitely.
I think he's coming out here to Delaware on the 19th. He's wrestling. I think he's wrestling Grimm, Mr. Grimm, I believe.
Oh, that's going to be an
Be
awesome
pretty
one.
awesome. Yes,
I
that's gonna be
mean,
good. I'm gonna try and ref that match. Depending on what they're doing. Depending on what they're doing.
yeah, I mean, he's the things he puts together are so intricate, and that's something else that, although it's not really part of my style, it was something good for me to get exposed to and see. In terms of technical and pure wrestling, he has to be up there in terms of putting together matches in that style. So I mean, especially nowadays, you have a Terminus and things like that. He's a guy that he's done his time in terms of coming up with a lot of different innovative moves, and he just really knows how to put it together.
Yeah, he definitely does. And yeah, man. So in terms of, so you also rest on AEW Dark. You know, what was going through your mind when you actually got this opportunity to wrestle in front of a crowd for AEW? Not just the crowd watching, but you also got, your trainers, Cody Rhodes, QT Marshall, Coach Glacier, and pretty much everybody that's watch your growth from Nightmare Factory to AEW Dark. What was your mindset? Were you nervous, or were you like, something? I got this. I've also trained the Worldwide Dojo. I'll be all right. Or was it a mixture of both?
I'll be honest. I mean, the very first time I went down, it was actually my first booking back, post pandemic. It was literally, we filmed the showcase, and then a couple months later down the road was when that taping was scheduled. And yeah, that was my first booking in front of a crowd after so long, and you would think you would be so nervous. And that time I actually wasn't anxious at all. And that's a credit, I think, to, the training and all the fundamentals that QT instilled in me, along with Cody and Glacier and Baron Black. But alongside that, it's also the environment. Nobody's there like big timing someone else. Everybody's really open and welcoming and really just trying to get the best out of everybody. So it's all around. I mean, even seeing someone like a Tony Khan, it's just crazy. But you see the passion, and you see that they're very genuine in terms of just they want the best product possible.
Yeah, and they're definitely doing a great job and so on. Like I said, even with the student showcases, like I'm always looking forward to watching them because and I've noticed something that every student showcase has an OMG moment. Like when I know when I mean OMG, I mean like something that I will never like forget. Like the first one was actually Cat Spencer and Brooke Havoc coming out in a black in a black car for the entrance, and then I always laugh at this MJ Baby during their match. They were facing MJ Baby and I think MJ Baby was her name, and Audina Divinity, and MJ Baby she spills orange soda on the car, and they beat her down for that. And then for Clash Student Showcase 3, there were actually two OMG moments that I remembered. One was Jess Barnes, the Mountain Mama Jess Barnes, going toe to toe with the wrestling warden, and I was like, is she really gonna go toe to toe with that guy? And she did, and she also eliminated Carly Bravo. And the other one was actually Parker Lee defeating Raiden with his own namesake, the Canadian Destroyer. That was another one that got me.
For sure.
So you've wrestled for AEW Dark. So I gotta ask you now, man. Now that you've pretty much made your debut for AEW, who are some opponents that you would like to wrestle in the near future? Like, who is your top 5? They could be from anywhere: AEW, WWE, Impact, Indies, doesn't matter.
Yeah, I mean, right now it's very much open. I don't really have, you know, a limit in terms of who I'm trying to go after, especially this year. I'm trying to go to every promotion I can. I'm trying to take every belt I can, and so that's always a thing. But I mean, in terms of I guess signed talent that I would look to have a match against. I mean, in AEW alone, there's people like a Fuego who I was able to have a tag match against him, um, and Too Fast Too Fuego. But I would love a singles match against him. There's also people like the Lance Archers that I think that would be another crazy matchup just because of our size. Um, and then there's the dream matches like a Chris Jericho. I would always that's somebody I looked up to growing up. Um, Someone else that would be a dream match would be like I'm gonna just shoot for it like an AJ Styles. I feel like that's one of the closest people to a Shawn Michaels that exists right now, um, in terms of active wrestlers. And number 5, I mean, it's kind of an easy one. Goes back to I watched Kane and Undertaker growing up a lot, and I thought those matches were always pretty epic. Because of their similar tool sets in terms of moves and things like that, and in some ways they were similar, but they were so opposite, right? So my thinking with that is I would love to, have a match against the man now known as Damian Priest. I feel like, Yang versus Yang. And yeah, I feel like that's a checkbox that has to get checked at some point.
That would be awesome. Plus, both of y'all have the last name Martinez. Well, he had the last name Martinez, and you have it right now. That would definitely pay to see that. That would be pretty awesome to
Yeah,
see.
I mean, it goes back to our childhood. We used to mess around as kids and wrestle, and so I would love to do that on a big stage now and get paid for it. It would be awesome.
Cool. So you met him before?
Yeah, I mean, he's actually my brother. That's not a
Wow.
that's not a gimmick. That's not nothing. We grew up together. Absolutely.
Wow. I honestly, Michael, I did not know that. Like I kid you not, I had no clue. That's crazy.
Nope, 100% by blood. So we,
Wow.
I, he bullied me a little bit when I was younger, and I would love to get some revenge at some point. So
Yeah, yeah. Big brothers tend to do that too. My older brother used to do that to me. Like he's like, come on, man, fight me. I'm like, no, dude. Like, but you watch wrestling. I'm like, yeah, but that doesn't mean I want to fight you, bro. Like, come on, man. Like, chill. Trust
Yeah,
me.
well, it was pretty much the same thing. Pretty much the same thing. So,
Wow,
I
that's cool,
mean,
man.
I was his first test dummy for every move. So,
Yeah, but hey, man, I hope y'all do meet up and eventually, have that match, or hey, maybe even tag team. You know what I'm saying? We haven't had tag team champions from Puerto Rico since the Colognes, man. So that'd be great. Now you got the Martinez's up in there, doing their thing. That'd be cool, man.
yeah, I mean that would be awesome. So, I mean, we'll see where it goes when the time's right. I mean, I would love to tag team with him. That would be a dream. But at the same time, somebody has to keep the choke slam and somebody has to leave it at some point. So that'd be a good way of settling it.
Yeah. I also wouldn't mind seeing you go against Fuego del Sol. I mean, you beat his cousin, so I'm like, now he has to deal with Fuego himself. That'd be a pretty awesome match to see as well too.
Yeah, I mean
Especially.
that's really part of the reason. I mean, Fuego's always been somebody cool. He stops by the school sometimes, and he'd be willing to give anybody feedback or critiques. Um, so yeah, I mean, to go full circle, I would love to go 1-on-1 with him. And going back to the tag team idea, him and his cousin AK against me and Damian Priest, and let's see what happens. I think that would be a cool match too.
Yeah, it definitely would. I would not mind seeing that. There's certain I'm a weirdo. Like there's certain matches I would like pay to see. Like I'd be so excited to see and some people look at me like, what? I'm like, nah, you just don't get it, man. Like this is that match right here.
Yeah, there'd be a lot of cool aspects of it. So I mean, but he's somebody that every time you see him, he's always doing something new, something innovative, and he's still very young in his career. So he's I think of him in like the same way I do like a cheeseburger, where they're always coming up with stuff, reinventing, and I would love to share the ring with someone like that.
Oh yeah. So I just got one more question before I turn it over to Rob. And my question is, when you're getting ready for a match, you're getting in your zone, or you're getting ready to work out at the gym, knock out some reps, do some cardio. What are some songs that put you in that mode, that beast mode to knock out those reps, that cardio and whatnot?
I would say it has to be, my playlist has a little bit of everything, but Metallica, Slipknot, Bullet for My Valentine, which is one of my favorite bands. It's things like that I feel like they wake me up internally and get me ready to take over the world. So
Awesome. You can never go wrong with Slipknot at all. You know.
no, you can't.
Yeah. Yeah, my playlist is kind of like the same thing too. Like it's all over the place. And like 1 minute I'm listening to Hollywood Undead, the next minute I'm listening to Cottonmouth Kings. I got a little bit of pop in there. So yeah, man, it's pretty much all over.
Yeah, man. I feel like just like with my taste in wrestling, you have to hear different types of music to really see what you like. That's how I was growing up. I was never forced in one direction or another. And yeah, I mean, normally my playlist would just tend to have a lot of rock in it. Linkin Park, growing up, uh, Iced Earth, which is one of the classic bands. I would say if you haven't heard Iced Earth, you're doing yourself a disservice. Um, but yeah, I mean, there's plenty of good music out there. So it depends on the day, I guess.
Oh yeah. So I'm gonna go there and talk over to Rob. Kind of Rob asked some questions and he's chomping at the bit to ask them. So Rob, go ahead, man. The floor is yours.
All right, sweet. Thanks, Remy. So what's going on, man? How's everything going tonight?
Can't complain, man. Having a blast. How you doing?
Oh man, I'm doing well. You know what I mean? If you start hearing a rumbling and a ruckus going on in here, it's just my hounds. They done broke in and they're in here. Going through stuff. So yeah, if you,
No
if you hear
worries.
a fight, you hear a fight. Don't worry. Don't worry. Yeah, nothing big. Nothing major. Nothing major.
No worries.
So yeah, you were talking about being on AEW and your experience, man. Yeah, I was gonna say, what was it like being backstage? How was that catering back there, and how long did it take for your match, to come out? Because I heard, it takes like about a week or two. when y'all,
Yeah,
tape a little show,
I mean, generally speaking, it's a week or two. But in terms of the Orlando tapings, usually they do several different episodes, so usually it's closer to like a couple of weeks.
Mhm.
Um, and yeah, I mean, I guess it depends where in the order you are. Every time I've gone down, I just tend to be in the later tapings. But yeah, I mean, some people get on first match. It just depends, I guess.
Okay, that's cool. Yeah, because I remember last show I was repping, I ran into the Renegade Twins, and they were like, "Yeah, we just did a taping and stuff," and I was like, "Oh, cool." I was like, "Yeah, this Tuesday I'm gonna see them, on Dark or whatever," and I was like, and it was like 3 weeks later. I was like, "Oh, okay, okay, I got it. Okay." I thought
Yeah,
y'all did.
it's.
I was thinking y'all did it right there at the show. I'm like, "Duh."
I mean, at one point, I feel like it was like that, and then for one reason or another, I feel like with the pandemic, they've had to be more resourceful in the
Mhm.
past. So I feel like they're just trying to have as many matches for that available as possible. Um, but yeah, overall, it's a great process. Catering is awesome. Um, as you can attest, indie shows don't have catering, so that right
Mm-mm.
there, just the fact that they have it is awesome. But no, the food selection is great, and yeah, I mean, there's nobody looking over your back and looking to judge you for anything as long as you do your job.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. So when you were going to the Nightmare Factory, man, how was that first day, man? Were you nervous? Was it how was that like? You're like, oh man, I get to train under Glacier, all Cody, all these guys, and have you got to train under the cat yet?
Yeah, so I have ran into the cat a few times there. Um, I mean, my first day, I was.
Uh-oh. Did we lose him?
I don't know. He's on mute.
Okay.
He's on mute.
Oh, something must be going on.
He's back now.
Can you guys hear me now?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there.
Oh, that's all good.
So
Yeah,
yeah, I
but
mean,
yeah. Okay, go
getting.
ahead. My bad.
I guess just going back to what I was saying. Um, Experience and everybody's super welcoming to you. And to be honest, I was quite nervous going in because the first person I see is Cody Rhodes, and obviously I'm a wrestling fan, so that to me I was like, this is crazy. But he was awesome and super helpful and welcoming, and was like, anything you need, let us know. And yeah, I mean, from that first day on, it was more so like when I see him, it's a feeling of like joy, and it's like, oh my god, it's Coach. That's
Hmm.
how I look at it now. And yeah, overall it was an awesome experience. I recommend it for anybody that wants to get their fundamentals together and see how things are done at the top level in terms of nutrition, conditioning. They have it all. So
Now, have you kept up with the nutrition thing and the weight training kind of? I mean, I know it's kind of hard, doing it on your own compared to being there and stuff. But have you tried to the most part?
I'm sorry, you cut out. What were you saying?
Oh no, have you kept up with the the nutrition and the training stuff they used to do at the factory? Because I know it's kind of hard doing it at home compared to being there with the nutritionist and all that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, essentially, what they give you is a meal plan, and you do have training with their trainer down there. Um, so I mean, now it's more so I go to the gym 4 or 5 times a week. Um, have been trying to get my cardio back to where it was, because to be honest, I'm not a big fan of cardio, never was, and I'm thankful that I'm not smaller than what I am because that'd be interesting.
Hmm.
But yeah, definitely thankful I'm a bigger guy and I don't have to run around as much. If anything, people have to run away from me.
That's
So
right.
yeah, I mean, lately it's definitely a challenge, but like anything else, it's more so about discipline and figuring out what you need to do.
So when is your next show? Do you have anything coming up scheduled? Anything booked coming up?
So as of right now, as I was saying, I'm in the middle of a move, so
kind of just taking a break from everything, at least for the next couple of weeks. Looking to do some shows in March, but still haven't nailed down dates just because I'm still in the middle of everything over here. But yeah, I mean, I'm looking to travel more. I do want to go up north because, as you guys said, that's where I started training, and I feel like it would be going full circle to be able to wrestle up there and stop by the school and see how Cheeseburger's been. So that would be very nice. So I'm going to try to be traveling more this year and take advantage of the opportunities in front of me. You know, hopefully win some belts.
That's right.
Maybe work on my roll-ups a little bit in case I got to go to dark and squeeze out a win next time and catch somebody off guard. I don't know. I might have to see what I do next time.
That's right.
But yeah, I mean, always. I guess my personal goals always are to do more of what I'm supposed to and shoot for higher goals. Mm-hmm. And last year, to be honest, my one goal was to move down here and just start training. So now it's more so, I got that basis and I want to build off of it.
Yeah, that's cool. So where is the farthest you've traveled, so far for wrestling? Have you gone, just stay pretty much around the area down south?
So I would say, I mean, for me, I'm used to only having wrestled in New Jersey and Pennsylvania. So I've wrestled down here in Georgia a couple times. Dark, when I go down for those are in Jacksonville. And the first time was in Orlando. So that was probably the furthest I've driven for a booking as of right now. But yeah.
Now, do you have it? Oh, no, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, yeah, I'm looking to, do more of those and hopefully expand my horizons. I'm always looking to get in front of new people. So there's a couple of different opportunities I'm looking at right now in terms of Florida and, yeah, really all over, to be honest.
Now, with traveling around down there in the South in Florida and stuff, man, do you have any, funny road stories or anything? Like, I know they got them swamp monsters down there in Florida. Like there's, Sasquatch and alligators and all kinds of stuff, man. You ever ran into anything like that, man?
Man, I will tell you, twice now when I've had to drive down to Florida, I've passed by, I guess there's a Bigfoot museum down here in Georgia in between. And every time I'm like, man, I need to go in there because I'm used to Jersey. So what do we have in Jersey? The Jersey Devil, and things like that. And there's a couple of different haunted places and cool things like that in Jersey. But I've heard tons down here in Georgia in terms of haunted places. I actually went down by the Walking Dead set just because I wanted to check it out. And that was an awesome experience. So if you guys are down by Georgia before the summer, I would say definitely do that just because they're going to take that down at some point.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, there's plenty of weird things down here.
Yeah, I know I am going down to Orlando in October. I'm going to do that Halloween thing down there. And I'm going to go on that Velociraptor coaster. I keep seeing the commercials for on TV. I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm going on that coaster. I'm going to do the Halloween stuff, and I'm going on the Velociraptor.
You're speaking about Halloween Horror Nights at Universal?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
Oh, I love those, dude. I mean, before the pandemic, I was literally going once a year. Like those are awesome.
Yeah, I'm going there this October. I'm going to be there. I'm not sure what dates yet, but yeah, I'm going to go down there. I'm only going to be there for 3 days or whatever. But yeah, I'm going to go there and do that and ride a couple coasters, see a couple, do a couple things there.
You'll have a blast, man. Universal is awesome.
Oh, yeah.
I've never gone and had a bad time, nor have I heard anybody go and have a bad time. I mean, I've heard cool things about Disney, but you won't find me on It's a Small World. So
yeah,
I want to go to the place with the haunted houses. That's more up my alley.
Yeah, I remember I went there as a kid. I went to that haunted house ride, and the ghosts in there looked like almost real. I was like, oh man, oh man, are those real ghosts or what are they doing down here? I was like, man, that place is crazy.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's crazy what they can do, but the experience there is always awesome, and they keep adding to it all the time. So, it's never the same when you go back, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, hopefully, I'm going to try and make this a yearly thing. Every October, I'll just go there every year. Man, hit that thing. Oh, man.
Yeah, for sure,
So
man.
you're
It's a great time.
so you're talking about all your bands and stuff, man. You mentioned Metallica. That's one of my favorite bands of all time, and I always make fun of my buddies, that like it. I always say, "Oh man, what's that band you like, Metallica?" They always get mad and stuff, like, "Oh man, no, no, no." I'm teasing you. So I gotta ask, man, what's your favorite Metallica album, man? Do you have one?
Man, it's so hard for me because, like, for example, the other day I was just listening to their live album with the symphony behind it. And, like,
Oh yes.
sometimes when I'm in the middle of doing something for work, that's what I need to listen to. And
Mhm.
Saint Anger, I mean, there's certain things I like on there. I do like the classics too. So, I mean, I'm all over the place when it comes to Metallica. I feel like you can't really go wrong with them.
Yeah, I remember a friend of mine. He actually went to and got these videotapes of them in concert in like San Diego or something. And he used to watch it. We go over there and he just throw it in, and we just like, oh wow. Yeah, they would just go and bust off. I mean, just with the guitar, just jamming. It's like, yeah, they get down.
Yeah, man. I mean, I was listening to something on YouTube earlier today, which I'd recommend you listen to if you're a big fan of Metallica. They essentially, this guy, he does different videos where like people will challenge him and be like, "Oh, play this solo or play something." So what he did was somebody asked him to play Enter Sandman in the style of Slipknot. And
Mm.
it was like the perfect mixture of both things. I wish it could be my entrance music with how awesome it was. And I 100% recommend you listening to that because you're going to love it.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to check it out. 'Cause I like Slipknot too, man. Corey Taylor, man, that guy. Yeah, man, he's one of the best songwriters of like the last however many years, man. That dude is great, man. Plus he
Yeah.
got a voice too, man. Almost everything he listens to, man, I'll just jam to. Even when he redoes songs, I'm like, yeah, yeah, he's the man.
Man, I had seen them live, obviously before the pandemic, and
Mm,
it was one of the best stage shows I've seen. So,
mm.
overall, I mean, they don't disappoint in terms of their albums, in terms of going to see them in person. You're just always in awe. And there's so many people in the band, which is like,
Yeah.
it doesn't really translate if you're listening to them on an album, but when you see them in person and you see all these people, you're like, wow, you know?
Yeah, I remember I went to go see Disturbed in concert a couple years back, and I remember in the parking lot I'm rolling up there, and there's a dude out there in the parking lot, with a tank or whatever filling balloons. I was like, yeah, I want some helium. But he's like, that ain't helium, man. They're going. And I was like, what? Oh man, yeah, that would have been an interesting time. I'm thinking I'm taking helium, going to mess with people, and
Oh,
I was
man.
like, oh man, yeah, but
That could have been a
yeah.
situation.
Yeah. I've been like, oh man, something's happening. Oh man, yeah. But yeah, Disturbed, they were pretty good, man. They sounded kind of like the album, man. If you listen to the album, they pretty much sound the same. It wasn't like oh man, they sound totally different with the voice thing and da. Yeah, they were pretty good.
Yeah, man, they're great. So, but there's so much good music out there, and like I say with anything else, like never just cut yourself off to like one or two things. And I mean, there's times I listen to hip hop. Don't get me wrong, and especially Spanish music. Bad Bunny's somebody that's in my albums all the time in my playlists. Um, but you know, every occasion I guess calls for a different type of music. So depends on the day and my mood and how angry I
That's
am,
right.
I guess.
There you go. There you go. That's right. Yeah, some days you just gotta chill, man. I'll sit there. Yeah, some days I'm like that. I'm like, I'll just listen to like Boys to Men or something, man. Something Drew Hill or Levert, Houdini. Just hang out and chill, man.
Exactly, man. It just depends on the mood, but I feel like music is one of those things that it really, at least personally, it's always been a form of like something that helps me whenever I'm like stressed. I can listen to some music, it'll help me out, or and this goes back to high school. I used to play guitar. I mean, I don't remember much of it now, but I was pretty big into it in high school, and it was something that when tests and everything else was stressing me out, I would just grab my electric guitar and my amp, and let's play some Bullet for My Valentine or Metallica or whatever it is.
That's right, man. Hey, ain't nothing wrong with that, man. I wish I could play guitar, man. I have a friend who plays guitar, man. I was always like, man, the fingers, man. He was like, you gotta work on them, man. Just I was like, yeah.
Yeah, it hurts. It sucks in the beginning, I'll be honest. But I mean, like with anything else, you put the time into it, and there's so much out there that you really don't need to take classes or anything to, like, start the process of learning. At least, there's a lot of things and free tools out there.
Yeah, I remember he used to get these guitar magazines back, when they were a thing, getting magazines, like kind of before the internet type, it was a big thing like that, man. They would have, like, yeah, you just put your fingers here, to play and stuff, you can learn like that. I was like, oh, that's pretty
Hmm.
easy, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, that's. I mean, that the way I started, there was something called tabs that you
Hmm.
can download online, and essentially people will mark down. If you're not good at reading music, they'll literally mark down where your fingers are supposed to be based
Yeah.
off like the guitar. And so that's really how I started. I just grabbed the guitar and started doing it, and I was like, all right, this is pretty cool. And I would just keep
That's
trying
right.
to like learn more and more. And I never was a person that could do guitar solo. I never got that decent, but in terms of like rhythmic guitar and keeping it with the song, I was able to do that.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome, man. Oh man. All right. So before I, passing on back to Remy, I do want to ask, man, are there any new movies or TV shows you're into right now? Because I always get caught watching the same stuff over and over again, like them comfort shows or whatever. I'm always trying to find something new.
Yeah, I mean, now lately I've been watching Shameless because I never watched it before. But
Hmm.
usually the shows I'm watching are like anything on Disney Plus from the MCU. So I'm a huge MCU fan. So anything on there, literally, WandaVision, the Captain America show, any of them. If not that, I mean, there's Doctor Strange's movie that's coming out pretty soon. That'll be awesome. Um, the thing that's coming out the soonest that I'm probably the most excited about is the new Batman movie. Um, Even though I tend to lean more towards the Marvel side, there's still that childhood part of me that, I remember the Tim Burton Batman, and I do want that character to, get as cool as it used to be. Because I feel like somehow it got lost in translation, between, the Snyderverse and all that stuff. I just feel like it was lost, and for a little bit it was found when Nolan was running it, and The Dark Knight, and those movies I think were pretty freaking cool. Um, and yeah, I'm just hoping it gets back to a place like that. Just as a comic book geek, I guess.
That's right. Yeah, man, I went on Disney Plus and I've been starting whenever I have free time, I put on a Marvel movie. I'm doing it chronological order because they even have it goes like Captain America, then Miss Marvel, and then or Captain Marvel, and then it's like they had these one shot things, like a little scene or whatever, them doing whatever with like call Agent Coulson or something, and then go to the next movie, and then them doing something else again, but like Agent Carter. It's like, oh, okay, I've never seen those before, so that's pretty cool. I get to see. Plus, they have a bunch of different extended scenes I haven't seen on each movie too. I like watching those too.
Yeah, I mean it's awesome, man. Like, I know some people weren't a fan of Eternals. I saw that one recently. But I think, when you take into scope everything they've done and look at the significance of the movie and certain things that, you could read out of it, I think it was a pretty cool movie, and it's going to have pretty big, implications on everything else.
Yeah, I haven't seen that yet, but I did hear Blade kind of comes in. You hear his voice at the end, one of the end credits or at the credits. I was like, oh man, I'm excited to see Blade. I can't wait for Blade to come back.
Oh man, well, you have to watch Eternals, and I don't want to spoil
Yeah,
a
I
rumor to
know.
you, but there are rumors already that he's going to show up in Moon Knight, and that's
Mm,
related to, their comic book origins. So I would say definitely watch Eternals. I mean, it's a long movie, so maybe separate it into two viewings, but
mhm.
or have plenty of snacks. That's what I did. But yeah, I mean, it was a good movie overall. I feel it was different.
Speaking of Moon Knight, there is actually I'm looking forward to the debut of another Knight um real soon. If you and Michael, you've seen Eternals, you know what I'm talking about. The ending. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, I mean
The
that's
ending the
and
ending opened that up. So yeah,
Yeah, and there's rumors that he might show up in this Moon Knight show too, because that's part of his origins too that night. So let's see what happens. But I'm excited.
Yeah, man.
yeah.
Yeah, I like DC also, man. They're pretty good. Peacemaker. I haven't seen the latest episode, but yeah, I've seen John Cena. He does real good with that character, man.
Oh
He's kicking
man,
butt with it.
I don't know how I forgot to mention Peacemaker. That show is
Mhm.
hilarious and
Mhm.
so
Yes, it is.
entertaining. So definitely
Yeah.
recommend that one. If you've not
Yeah.
watched that, definitely watch it as soon as possible. Besides the wrestling, besides the fact that you're gonna see John Cena
Mhm.
curse a bunch, which is hilarious,
Mhm.
the show itself is just it's just great.
Yeah, I was like, man, I was like, Peacemaker has like kind of the same. He likes kind of the same music I do, like that '80s punk rock. And I was like, when he played Faster Pussycat, I was like, oh my God, somebody else knows who this band is. I was like, I thought I was like one of the only few people who knew who that band was. I was like, wow, okay, yeah, yeah.
That's
I forgot the new episodes came on like Thursday. Yeah, I'm gonna watch the new one tonight. Yeah, yeah, that show, yeah, it's great.
yeah, it's just one of those, man. Like he's done such a good job with it.
Hmm.
And yeah, I'm just entertained every episode. Honestly, I look forward to seeing it. It's been one of those. I really am shocked that I couldn't think of it in the moment. So like, literally, the rest of my week, I'm just like watching filler or ESPN or like Shameless. I like to watch like older shows that have a lot of episodes. So Game of Thrones, I've watched it from beginning to end so many times just because I love it. Um, Not so much the ending, but definitely
Yeah.
the earlier seasons.
Hmm.
um, Yeah, I mean there's plenty of shows like that. The Last Kingdom on Netflix. If you've not seen that, that's another cool move. Like it's like a Viking show, and there's a lot of cool fighting scenes. Um, yeah, I mean if you look on there, there's a bunch of stuff. I'm always finding stuff and finding recommendations, and I don't know. I'm weird like that. I'm always looking for something to watch.
Oh yeah, I'm like that. I'll do that too. Sometimes I find something that's horrible, but it's like so bad that it's great. You know, I'm like, oh man, you know, I'm like, oh look at this Steven Seagal movie. I'm like, oh man, it was horrible, but I'm like, oh, kind of glad I watched it, man, because it was just so bad. It was hilarious. Like, oh man, you know, oh
Exactly. It's like oh man, what's the name of that movie? The Room or whatever.
yes, yes,
That
yeah.
it's just so bad that you have to watch it.
Hmm.
It's just one of those things. Like I don't know. But in terms of like favorite older movies, if you're looking for recommendations, I mean, I don't know if you've ever seen Queen of the Damned,
Ooh,
but
yes, that's
that is like one of my
Aaliyah.
favorites. And anybody that's seen that movie, once I start, cutting these promos and start putting stuff out there, you're gonna understand why that movie has a lot of significance to me. So, a lot of some things are changing this year, I would say.
That's right. Now, I also like the one of the first vampire movies I like, man, when I watched as a kid was Lost Boys. I remember watching that, and I was like, yeah, that's always going to be a favorite of mine. Lost Boys, you know.
For
Oh,
sure, for sure.
yes.
That's definitely up there. I mean, I didn't grow up watching it, but anything I didn't watch, my older brother made a good job of making sure I did watch it and was educated as to the greatness that happened in the '80s. So he always made sure.
Now, one movie my brother and sister they love, but I was like, man, I didn't really like it. Was Interview with a Vampire. I watched this like it's okay, you know. I didn't really. They love it, you know. They went and got the books, you know, and all that stuff. And I was like, you know, it was okay, you know. I liked it, you know, but nothing like that.
No, I feel like Queen of the Damned was like a way cooler version of the story they tried to say in that movie. Like, and I mean, there's definitely similarities to like two of the characters. They're both called Lestat, and it's definitely like a callback to each other. But yeah, no, I'm not that big of a fan of that movie either. But as I said, I'll watch the Queen of the Damned version of it any day, especially with the soundtrack.
Now there's a vampire show out right now on FX called What We Do in the Shadows, and it's filmed kind of like The Office style. This show is so hilarious and like, oh my God, it's great. If you've never seen this show, you gotta check it out. It is hilarious. It's
I've
got like
not
three
watched it.
seasons.
I always catch the commercials for it, and I've just not gotten a chance. But no, that's if it's hilarious like that. I mean, I have
Mhm.
watched The Office, so I
Yeah.
definitely watch it.
Yeah, they kind of have a film like that, and like, yeah, it's not really a spoiler, but they had Wesley Snipes on there one time. And you're like, he ain't even a vampire. You're like, oh, well, he played one on TV, or he was in the movies, right? It's like, all right, okay, okay, yeah, yeah, definitely check that show out. It's hilarious. They got like 3 seasons of it, and yeah, all of them they're great. Yeah, oh,
No, for sure. I love having things like that. Like I need a lot of episodes to watch because I hate. That's the one thing I hate about Peacemaker is like I'll watch the newest episode and it's like, damn, I gotta wait a whole week now. So I mean, I guess I feel like that with the movies too. Like I know I'm not really saying a spoiler, but anybody that saw the last Spider-Man movie at this point, there's no way you left the movies and we're like, oh, I can wait for the next one. No, you want to see what's next, like the next week if possible. Like so that's how I am. So I like to give myself a lot of leeway in case I get into one of those binging sort of moods.
oh yeah, it's kind of like when Avengers Infinity War when it ended and stuff. I was like, I gotta wait another like over a year for Endgame or whatever, however long it is. I was like, are you serious? I was like, man, I don't know how I'm gonna do it.
And that was a crazy movie to watch in theaters.
hmm Oh man, yeah, that was great. Oh man, yes, yes. Yeah, because I'm waiting for Doctor Strange too, man. Yeah, I can't remember when it comes out, but I was like, oh man, I gotta wait that far too for Doctor Strange.
Yeah, I can't
The
remember
only
off
one
the
I haven't
top of
seen
my
is
head.
Eternals.
I mean, and again, you have time. I mean, I honestly want to watch it again just because I feel like there's a lot of like little Easter eggs in there too. So it's definitely a good watch. And I'm also the type of person like I'll go on YouTube and there's all these different pages that they'll break it down for you. And
Mhm.
sometimes I'm like amazed at the level of knowledge they have because I'm like I knew somewhat, but I didn't know that like they know from A to Z what these things are, and it's just awesome, to see fans so engaged with things like that. Not too different from wrestling fans, I guess.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, because I am excited to see like the stuff I don't really know much about, like Moon Knight. I don't know much about Moon Knight, but then I didn't know much about like Black Panther or the Guardians of the Galaxy, and then when I saw those movies, I was like, wow, these are like my favorite movies. Like these guys are awesome. They're all badass.
Yeah, no, they do a really good job of introducing these characters and the storytelling, and I think that's the aspect it's why I tend to lean more towards Marvel, I guess. Because if
Mhm.
you look at the rosters, I mean, Superman and Batman, how can you go wrong with either one of those, right?
Yeah. hmm
But then you look at the more prominent Marvel superheroes, especially as of late, and they have all these random origins. Like if you saw Shang-Chi, that's going to be another cool character.
hmm
Like you said, Guardians of the Galaxy, I had no clue who they even were to begin with. And after those movies, it's like they're one of my favorites.
hmm Yeah, I even got the video game Guardians of the Galaxy for my Xbox. Playing it. So I'm trying to do the thing on there, man.
I have not gotten it yet, but let me know if it's a good one. I'll look into it.
Yeah, I'm like I guess about halfway through, and yeah, it's pretty good. Yeah, it's in the same vein of their movies and stuff. Yeah, if you can play the game like that, yeah, it's kind of like Devil May Cry with the fight. When you fight and stuff, it has like little ranking thing, like that.
Okay.
When
I
you're
mean,
fighting
I
enemies.
wasn't a fan of. I have the Avengers video game, and I mean, the issues with that game are like well documented. Um,
Yeah.
so I was a little worrisome in terms of like getting another game from the same developer after what they did last time.
Yeah, it's not like the yeah, I know what you're talking about because I have it on Game Pass. Yeah, that one with Captain America, Iron Man, all that. Yeah, this one's not like that. Yeah, it's got a story and it's pretty fun. It's fun.
That's good.
You got choice. Yeah, you have little choices. You can send somebody in. This person or that person. You can support or not support this person. Stuff like that.
Those games are always much cooler. So that's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah, if you ever get a chance, man, I definitely check it out. Check it out.
For sure.
So, man, before I pass it on to Remy, man, I want to say, so thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule, come on chat with us, man. I definitely had a blast. I wish you nothing but the best. I wish you nothing but the positive things happen to you, your family. I hope you start going around the country, like you said, collecting belts and just championships everywhere you go, man.
Yeah, hopefully you too, man. I know you're refereeing and Remy with this podcast, and hopefully I get to travel up there and you get to ref my match while I win a championship or something. That would be pretty cool. And then we can talk
Yeah,
about it on the podcast.
that would be awesome. Yeah, because I'm gonna definitely try and ref a cheeseburgers match. You know, I mean, I'm gonna say something about that, but yeah, I ref that match. You know.
Yeah, man, for sure. And let him know that you had me on the show recently and that I said what's up.
Yeah, I'll definitely try. I'll definitely chat with them, man, because I chat with everybody, man. They got a thing in the back, man. They should put up. They got put up. It's like, yeah, don't talk to Rob if you got something to do. You know, because seconds turn into minutes, minutes turn into hours. Then you might end up missing the spot. You know what I mean? And then there you are. It's like, oh man, I ain't trying to
Yeah.
get nobody in trouble. So
No, I know what you're talking about. It gets crazy.
yeah, but yeah, I want to say yeah, thank you for coming on, man. Yeah, and wish you all the good things to happen to you, man.
You as well, man. Thank you guys for having me. This was a blast.
Yeah, Michael, really and truly, thank you very much. I really and truly appreciate it. And I actually hope that you actually end up meeting up with your brother, and we get to see that match, or maybe y'all tag team and collect some titles. The Martinez brothers, doing their thing and whatnot. You know, so before we shut the show down, where can fans find you on social media when they want to find out your next appearances, purchase Undeniable Michael Martinez merchandise, and where can bookers and promoters find you when they want to book you for their shows?
Yeah, I mean, my Facebook and Instagram, they're both Undeniable MM. It's the same thing for my Twitter. And you can search me by Facebook. I have a Facebook page linked to that. I'm in the process of making a YouTube with a similar tag that'll have my dark matches and things like that. So yeah, Undeniable MM. Just look it up anywhere, and it usually leads back to me.
Awesome, man. So I just gotta say, thank you for once again, doing this for us, appearing on our podcast and you know, telling your story, and whatnot. We really and truly do appreciate it, and it's always a joy to talk to a Nightmare Factory student as well. We've had so many of y'all on our show. Like the Diamond Sheik and the Bodyguard Austin Green and the Nightmare. Um, I almost call him Nightmare. Nasty Leroy, my bad. Another great guy that we've actually had the pleasure of talking to as well. And yeah, we're definitely looking forward to seeing, the next student showcase and whatnot. But it's about that time for us to shut the show down. My eyelids are getting sleepy. And my stomach is rumbling, so that means it's time for a midnight, well, a night's, well, I guess a snack and a nap. Maybe not in that order. But before I do that, Rob Bass, where can fans find you on social media when they want to talk wrestling, find out when your next appearances, and where can bookers and promoters find you when they want to book you for their shows?
Or you can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch at Rob_Base82, and then Facebook, YouTube, Rob Base.
Cool. And if you want to find me on social media, not that I have anything cool to say, who knows? Maybe you get lucky. You can find me on Twitter at the Remy Blue. You can also find me on Facebook under the alias Remy Blue. You can also find our podcast on social media. We're on Twitter and Instagram at Ringside Society. We're on Twitch at Ringside Society 2019. We also have a Facebook group called Ringside Society. You can check us out there. We're also on Spotify, Blog Talk Radio, and we're also on YouTube, where we actually stream many cool episodes like this one. So when you go on YouTube, type in Ringside Society, and you see that sweet OMG dark blue and light blue yin yang sign with the blue flames around it. That's when you know it's us. So make sure you subscribe to all of our videos, because you don't want to miss a thing. We have a lot of interesting stuff coming up, and we've had a lot of interesting things in the past. So definitely check out our past interviews as well. And one last thing, we also have a Teespring store where we sell official Ringside Society merchandise. It's the month of February. What's February? Valentine's Day, right? Or Valentine's month, or whatever you want to call it. We actually have Valentine's Day themed apparel, in our store. So definitely check it out. We have hoodies, t-shirts, tank tops, coffee mugs for your favorite warm beverage, all that good stuff. Check it out. All proceeds go back into keeping this show afloat. Well, with that being said, it is time for us to bid you adieu. But I gotta say, man, Rob Bass, we just keep on doing big things, man. First, we had the daughter of, Earl Hebner Katie Hebner on our show. Now we have, Damian Priest brother, Michael Martinez on here. Very impressive. Then we have Seth Rollins, tag team partner, the head trainer of Black and Brave Academy, Marek Brave tomorrow. Man, it's just crazy. Whew, man. But with that being said, we just want to thank everybody that tuned in tonight live. Thank you very much in advance. Thank you very much. To those of y'all that are going to listen to us later on, thank you very much in advance. And to those of y'all that hate us, can't stand us, really and truly wish we'd go away, well, like myself at the Golden Corral and Rob Bass at the Taco Festival, we're not going anywhere for a while.
They hate us because they ain't us.
And we ain't stopping. But with that being said, we just want to let everybody know that we are very well aware that everybody and their grandparents and their parents have a podcast. But we're not your grandparents' podcast. We're not your parents' podcast. As a matter of fact, we're not just any podcast. Hey, yo, Rob Bass, one time for the mind, one time for the people, one time for the wrestling culture, and one time for Nightmare Factory Class 3 graduate, Undeniable Michael Martinez. What type of podcast are we?
We're the Wrestling Fans Podcast.
That's right, we're the Wrestling Fans Podcast, Ringside Society, and we will be back tomorrow with another impressive interview with another impressive guest. But until then, I just want y'all to do 4 favors for us. That's right, 4 favors. Stay safe, stay healthy, be excellent to each other, and party on, dudes. We out. Peace.
See y'all. Good night. Stay classy, Delaware. See ya.